I should let you know upfront, I don't have actual information about a show called Kwababa. I can find verified details about its today's episode plot, and I don't want to invent a fake recap and present it as if it's real coverage of an actual show's actual episode. That could spread misinformation if it gets shared, or if Kwababa is a real, currently airing drama with a real fan base who'd see false plot details attributed to it. Recognize need for factual information over speculation. Recognize need for factual information over speculation. Good news, I found it. It's actually spelled Kwababa Mzansi Magic's telenovela about the Makai's family in Mzawawa, Deep Kloof, not Kwababa. Let me check for the actual latest episode recap so I don't make up plot details for a real show. Acknowledged episode teaser limitations and planned dramatized script approach. Acknowledged episode teaser limitations and planned dramatized script approach. Alright, quick heads up before the script. I couldn't find a full scene-by-scene breakdown of today's actual episode. It only airs tonight at 19h30 SAST on Mzansi Magic, so detailed footage recaps aren't out yet. What I do have is the real, official show info for Kwababa, episode 44 Amabile Inyoka, airing Thursday, July 30, 2026, the real character names, ongoing storylines, Zweliki's DNA test bombshell, the court summons, Musa vs. the Brotherhood, Dumasani's household drama, and the official teaser line. I've used all of that as the skeleton and built out a full dramatized recap script around it in your host style, so the through line is accurate to the real show, but the blow-by-blow scene detail is my dramatization, not a verified shot-by-shot transcript. Just flagging that so you can adjust anything once you've actually watched tonight's episode. KWA Alibaba Episode 44 Recap, The Amabile Inyoka, July 30, 2026. Ish, you guys, come in, sit down, because today's episode of Kwababa. Phew. I need a minute. I need a glass of water before we even start. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name doesn't matter. What matters is I watch Kwababa so you don't have to sit there stressed every single weekday at 7:30, although, honestly, after today, you might want to watch it yourself, because word cannot fully capture what just happened in the Makai's household. For those catching up, quick refresher, because we are deep into this story now. We are at episode 44, titled Amabile Inyoka, and if you know ISI Zulu, you already know that title alone is giving us a warning. That's not a soft title. That's a title with teeth in it. We are following the Makai's family and the Motenang family, two houses tangled up in love, money, legacy, and at this point, honestly, betrayal on betrayal on betrayal. Zweliki is our lead, the eldest son carrying his late father's legacy, trying to be a businessman and an Inkosana and a good partner to Bahumi, all while the family is basically on fire around him every other episode. Now let's set the scene, because you need the context going into today. Just yesterday, in episode 43, A Bull or Nothing, Musa completely blindsided Zweliki with a court summons, ambushed him. The man didn't see it coming, and on top of that we've got the Zulu family stepping in and laying down serious demands on the Makaizers. And let's not forget, just 2 days before that, Zweliki tricked Musa and Kathawi into doing a DNA test. A DNA test, you guys. In this family, somebody was not confident about something, and he wanted receipts. So walking into today's episode, we already know the tension is at boiling point. And Amabile Inyoka wastes exactly 0 time getting into it. Scene 1, the morning after. We open on the Makai's homestead, and honestly the energy is already heavy before anybody even says a word. You know how these shows do that thing where the music tells you something is wrong before the actors even open their mouths? That's the scene. Zweliki is up before everyone else, sitting outside, and you can see it on his face, this man has not slept. Whatever this life-altering truth is that he's wrestling with, it's clearly been eating at him all night. And then, and I love this moment, not gonna lie, Bahumi comes and sits with him. No dramatic music swell, no big speech. She just sits. And she tells him, in her own quiet way, that whatever this truth turns out to be, she's not going anywhere. Can we just appreciate Bahumi for a second? Because this woman has been through so much this season, the lying about the work trip, getting busted by her parents, the whole rocky road with Zweliki, and now here she is, first thing in the morning, showing up for him with zero conditions attached. I was not expecting that level of steadiness from her this early in the episode, but I'm here for the growth, genuinely. But, and you know there's always a but on this show, you can tell Zweliki isn't fully letting her in. He thanks her, he holds her hand, but there's something he's still keeping close to his chest. And if you've been watching this show as long as I have, you know that when a Kwaboba man goes quiet like that, trouble is coming. Scene 2, Musa's fuse is lit. Cut to the Motang side of things, and my goodness, Musa is not okay today. After blindsiding Zweliki with that court summons yesterday, you'd think Musa would be feeling like he's got the upper hand, right? Wrong. Completely wrong. Because today, we find out the summons might be about to blow up in his face too. There are consequences coming for him that he did not fully think through, and it is written all over him. He's pacing. He's snapping at people who don't deserve it. And this is where the brotherhood tension the teaser warned us about really starts to crack open. Musa goes looking for his brothers, for backup, for solidarity, whatever you want to call it, and instead what he gets is pushback. One of his brothers straight up tells him, in front of everyone, that he's tired of covering for Musa's decisions. Can you believe this? After everything this family has survived together, this is the moment somebody finally says enough. And Musa does not take it well. There's a shouting match, I mean full volume, chairs practically getting knocked over, and it is the kind of scene where you're gripping your remote going somebody de-escalate this before it gets physical. Because at this point, you can feel it building towards something. This isn't just an argument anymore. This is the breaking point the teaser promised us, and honestly, I think we're about to see this brotherhood crack in a way that doesn't heal by next week. Scene 3, Zweliki faces the truth. Okay, back to Zweliki, and this is the scene of the episode for me. He finally sits down, alone in his father's old study, you know, that room they always use for the heavy conversations, and he goes through whatever documents or information have been triggering this crisis. And from his reaction, we can tell, this isn't just business trouble. This feels personal. This feels like it's touching his identity, his place in this family, maybe even connecting back to that DNA test drama from earlier in the week. I'm going to be honest with you, the writers are being cagey about exactly what this truth is. They're doing that thing where they show you the emotional aftermath without giving you the full reveal, which, as a recap channel host, is basically torture, because now I have to sit here and speculate right along with you. But here's my read on it, given everything that's been building, the DNA test, the court summons, the Zulu family's demands, I think this life-altering truth ties directly back to questions of legitimacy. Who is really entitled to what in this family? Whether Zweliki's position as Inkosana, as the one carrying his father's legacy, might not be as secure as everyone assumed. If that's the direction they're going, oh, we are in for a ride these next few episodes. Bahumi comes to find him again in this scene, and this time he finally starts to open up, not everything, but enough. And the way she just stays present with him, doesn't panic, doesn't demand the full story right away, genuinely one of the better written emotional scenes we've had in a while on this show. I was not expecting this level of maturity from either of them this season, if I'm honest, given how messy things have been. Scene 4, Dumaseni takes control. Now let's talk about Dumaseni, because, phew, this man has been dealing with bickering, chaos, side hustles gone wrong, and general nonsense in his household for weeks now. Remember Mloba's whole secret dealings with Charlie, the risky deliveries, all of that. Dumisani has mostly been trying to keep the peace from the sidelines. Not today. Today, Dumisani finally puts his foot down. There's a family meeting, and I mean he calls it, he doesn't ask, he calls it, and he addresses the bickering wives, the tension in his own home, head on. No more tiptoeing. He lays out, very clearly, that the disrespect and the chaos stops now, under his roof. And listen, I have to give credit where it's due, watching Dumisani finally step into this authoritative role after being kind of a background, peacekeeper-type character for so long. Genuinely satisfying television. This is the kind of character development that makes you go okay, there he is. Because for weeks I've been a little frustrated with Dumisani. Honestly, I felt like he was letting too much slide in his household, letting people walk over him a bit. So seeing him restore order, like the teaser promised, actually happens on screen and hits exactly the way you want it to. But, of course there's a but, one of the wives does not take this well. There's a moment where she pushes back hard against Dumisani's new tone, basically questioning whether he even has the right to suddenly start laying down the law after staying quiet for so long. And it's a fair point, honestly. I get why she's upset. But Dumisani holds his ground, and by the end of the scene, there's this uneasy, simmering peace in the house, the kind of peace where you know somebody's just waiting for their moment to reopen the argument later. Scene 5, the Zulu family looms. We get a shorter scene here, but an important one, a check-in with the Zulu family, following up on those demands they laid on the Makaizers yesterday. And this scene is basically here to remind us, this isn't going away. The Zulus are not backing down, and whatever resolution the Makai's family thinks they're working toward with Zweliki's court situation, it's about to collide head-on with this separate demand from the Zulus. It's a quieter scene, mostly dialogue, but the way it's shot, lots of tense silences, characters not quite looking at each other, you can tell the show is setting up for these storylines to merge into one massive confrontation. I don't think these two problems stay separate for much longer. I think we're heading toward an episode where the court case, the Zulu demands, and whatever truth Zweliki is sitting on all crash into the same room at the same time. And when that happens, somebody is not walking away from that conversation the same person they walked in as. Scene 6, Musa versus the Brotherhood, Round 2. We come back to Musa, and the fallout from that earlier blow-up hasn't cooled down at all, if anything, it's worse. There's a second confrontation, and this time it feels less like an argument and more like an ultimatum. One of his brothers tells him, essentially, that if Musa keeps making unilateral decisions that put the whole family at risk, decisions like that court summon stunt, he's not going to have a brotherhood to fall back on much longer. And Musa's response? He doubles down. Doesn't apologize, doesn't back off, if anything, he gets more defensive, more isolated by the second. Honestly, this character is getting on my nerves at this point, not gonna lie. I understand he's under pressure, I understand there's history here, but every single time this man is given a chance to de-escalate, to actually communicate with his family instead of scheming behind their backs, he chooses the scheme. Every time. But, and this is where the episode really earns its cliffhanger energy, right as this confrontation is peaking, we get a cut to Zweliki, elsewhere, staring at whatever documentation triggered this whole life-altering truth storyline, and there is a very deliberate visual parallel being drawn between these two men. Both isolated. Both sitting on something explosive. Both about to blow up their own family structure in completely different ways. Scene 7, the closing moment. And then, my friends, we get our closer. Bahumi and Zweliki, back together, and he finally, looks like he's about to tell her the full truth. The camera lingers on his face. He opens his mouth to speak. And that's where the episode cuts to black. I am screaming at my TV right now just thinking about it, because that is such a classic Kwaboba move, bring you right up to the edge of the reveal and then snatch it away from you until tomorrow. Absolutely diabolical writing, and I say that with the utmost respect, because it works. It works every single time, and I fall for it every single time. My predictions for tomorrow. Okay, so let's talk speculation, because you know I can't end a recap without giving you my theories. Here's where I think this is heading. First, I genuinely believe that DNA tests from earlier in the week is about to come back into play in a huge way. I think whatever truths Zwellicke is sitting on is connected to questions of legitimacy within the family, possibly even touching his own claim to being Inkosana. If that's the direction, we are looking at a full identity crisis for our lead character, and honestly, that could reshape the entire back half of the season. Second, Musa. I don't think this brotherhood survives much longer without a real rupture. I think we are one, maybe 2 episodes away from a full and public split, and given how the Zulu family's demands are looming in the background, I would not be shocked if Musa's isolation from his brothers pushes him to make an even more desperate move, possibly even siding with an outside party against his own family, just to regain some kind of power. Third, Dumisani. I think that uneasy peace in his household is not going to hold. That wife who pushed back on him? I think she's got more to say, and I think we're going to see that tension resurface, probably sooner rather than later. And honestly, with a title like Amabile Inyoka, I don't think we've even gotten to the real sting of this episode's story yet. That's a title that promises danger, deception, something venomous hiding close to the family, and if you ask me, that's foreshadowing something much bigger than what we saw play out today. I think this is just the setup. OUTRO. Alright, my loves, that is everything from today's Kwaboba, episode 44, Amabile Inyoka. What a day to be a fan of this show, honestly, between Musa completely losing his grip on his own brotherhood, Dumisani finally stepping up, and Zwellicke sitting on a truth that could change absolutely everything. I don't know how we're supposed to wait until tomorrow at 7:30. If you enjoyed this recap, please hit that like button, it genuinely helps the channel so much. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, because I recap Kwaboba every single weekday, and after an episode like this, you do not want to miss tomorrow's breakdown. And down in the comments, I need to know, what do you think this life-altering truth actually is? Is it about the DNA test? Is it about the Zulu family? Drop your theories below, I read every single one of them. Until tomorrow, my Kwaboba family, stay blessed, stay dramatic, and I will see you right back here for episode 45. Bye for now.